And in a world exclusive, Australia's Channel 7 will air a never-before-seen look at Meghan Markle this Sunday, featuring an extraordinary message from her family, including Thomas Markle, her dad, who I'm glad to report is re-finding his voice. So have a look at the bombshell trailer, which has just been released.
The world has never seen Meghan like this. The homecoming queen. The Markle family reunite.
This would be your last interview ever.
Treasured memories, home truths, and secret tapes are all coming out.
She would still be a waitress if it wasn't for Dad.
We're not going to go away. This is going to change everything.
They're really unhealthy for each other. It's a toxic relationship.
Dad's deathbed plea to the daughter he lost.
How can I fix this?
Thomas Markle just shared something really strange about his daughter. And once you hear it, you can't forget it. He says the world didn't just get the wrong story about Meghan, they got the wrong age. This one simple fact that nobody questioned changed everything that happened next. Her time in Hollywood, becoming a princess, her whole carefully planned journey. This isn't just rumors or guessing. It's about math. Simple, clear math. And when you start looking at the math, the whole story stops making sense. When dads usually talk about their daughters, they sound warm and loving. But Thomas Markle sounds different. He's not yelling or being dramatic. He sounds like someone looking at a clock that's been wrong for years and finally saying, "This doesn't make sense." When someone who was actually there, who celebrated the birthdays and lived through those years, remembers things differently than the official story, you can't just ignore it. Something feels wrong.
I love both my daughters. I'm not happy with what one of my daughters is doing. And I don't know what caused her to do this. We've had this conversation before. She's telling lies.
Thomas remembers his daughter before she was famous, before cameras followed her everywhere, and before she lived in palaces. He remembers normal life, school days, birthdays, important moments that can't be fake because they actually happened. When Meghan got famous, and her official life story became something nobody questioned, something bothered him. The ages didn't seem right. The timing felt wrong. Instead of yelling about it, he quietly corrected it the way parents do when they know they're right, calmly and carefully, just stating a fact. He suggested that the version of Meghan everyone knows, her perfect change from actress to duchess, might not be the complete truth. Once a father says that, you can't forget it. That's where the story really begins to fall apart. Let's go back to March 1997. Teenagers everywhere were reading 17 magazine, lying on their bedroom floors with pictures taped to their lockers and big dreams. On page 90 was a simple list of names, young women becoming famous. There it was, Meghan Markle, age 21. At first, it seems like nothing special. But then you stop and do the math. Because the official story everyone believes says Meghan was born on August 4th, 1981. That would make her 15 in March 1997. Not 21. 15. A 6-year difference isn't a small mistake. It's not someone accidentally rounding up. It's not a tiny error that slipped through. It's huge. This wasn't some blog post that could be quietly changed later. It was printed in a real magazine, sold everywhere, saved in libraries before Meghan ever became a duchess, before anyone thought to question when she was born. That number is still there, frozen on that page. Once you see it, the whole story changes. When she went to school changes. When she started in Hollywood changes. Suddenly, she's not a young teenager just starting out. She's an older woman dealing with an industry that's mean about age. And that one printed number makes you ask a question nobody has answered. Why is it there? Now, compare the two different versions. Version 1 is the official story everyone knows. Born August 4th, 1981, making her 44 in 2025. This version is everywhere, biographies, palace records, articles treated like unchangeable facts. Then there's version 2, quietly printed years ago, saying she was 21 in 1997. That means she was born around 1975 or 1976, which means today she wouldn't be in her mid-40s, she'd be close to 50. And that changes everything. It changes how old she was when she finished school, when she started acting, when she married Prince Harry, and most importantly, how old she was when she had her babies. This isn't about being mean. It's just math. Numbers don't argue or get upset. They just sit there waiting. If one part of the story was changed, you have to wonder what else was smoothed over. Age can be hidden with good lighting. Photos can be edited. Life stories can be rewritten. But having a baby doesn't care about looking good for the public. In medicine, there's a term that sounds harsh but isn't mean: geriatric pregnancy. It just means having a baby after age 35. It doesn't mean something will definitely go wrong, but doctors treat it very differently. More checkups, more careful watching, no taking chances. If Meghan was born in the early 1980s, she would have been in her late 30s, already considered higher risk. But if she was born in the mid-1970s, she would have been in her 40s. That's not a small detail. At that age, doctors are extremely careful during pregnancy. Hospitals don't rush. They don't try new things. And they definitely don't break their rules for a good story. Which brings us to where the story really starts falling apart: the hospital. The Portland Hospital isn't a pretend fairy tale place. It's fancy and private, yes, but it still has medical rules that don't bend for anyone. According to someone who knows how things actually work there, the public story just doesn't match reality. Prince Harry described the birth as peaceful, almost like a spa: candles burning, birthing balls, calm feelings. 2 epidurals, a quick recovery, then amazingly going home within just a couple hours. To someone who doesn't know about medicine, it sounds nice. To anyone who understands hospital rules, it sounds impossible. Epidurals aren't something you get twice. Once you get one, it stays working, and nurses watch you constantly. Walking right away isn't normal. Leaving soon after is even less normal. And Portland Hospital doesn't allow calm, spa-like births for mothers who are high risk. That's not being mean. That's following the rules. When people who work there heard the story, they didn't get emotional, they got confused. Hospitals follow procedures, not pretty stories. When a story doesn't match the procedures, it's not being told to show what really happened. It's being told to control what people think. In Harry's version, Archie's birth sounded like a movie. Candles, calmness, a peaceful room that sounded more like a vacation than a hospital. 2 epidurals, an easy delivery, and a quiet trip back to their home within 2 hours. It was perfect. Too perfect. Because real life, especially medical real life, is never that smooth. Hospitals don't work as fast as stories. They work at the speed of keeping people safe. Every detail made people ask questions, not mean ones or crazy conspiracy ones, but practical ones. Just the drive from Portland Hospital to Frogmore Cottage takes almost an hour. That means labor, delivery, recovery, observation, and leaving would all need to happen in less than 60 minutes. That's not how having a baby works. After an epidural, patients are watched until they can feel their legs again and their vital signs are stable. Walking right away isn't normal. Leaving almost immediately is unheard of. And the idea of 2 epidurals doesn't match what doctors actually do. When you compare the timeline to reality, it doesn't just bend, it breaks. When a story falls apart with simple math, it stops being about remembering wrong and starts being about making things look good. Then comes the most serious problem: preeclampsia, a condition with dangerously high blood pressure that can become deadly without warning. When doctors suspect it, everything changes. Special medicine, constant watching, no leaving early, no candles, no spa-like feelings. If Meghan had high blood pressure or preeclampsia like some people suggested, there is no way, none at all, where she would be allowed to leave a hospital hours after having a baby. This isn't just an opinion, it's hospital rules. Hospitals don't take chances with people's lives. They watch. They write everything down. They wait. So if the medical risk was real, the public timeline isn't just unlikely, it's impossible. By now, the pattern is impossible to miss. An age that doesn't quite match up. A timeline made to look perfect. A birth story that reads like a script instead of medical records. By themselves, each detail might be ignored. Together, they point to something else completely. Not messiness, control. This isn't about proving lies. It's about noticing changes. When an image has to look perfect, messy truths become problems. And when problem details pile up, they don't disappear. They get managed. Thomas Markle spoke as a father fixing a wrong clock. A magazine printed a number long before anyone was paying attention. A hospital worker pointed out rules that don't bend for stories. And through it all, silence followed instead of explanations. Maybe the story wasn't meant to be remembered as it happened. Maybe it was meant to be remembered as it needed to look. Official records might be written in pen, but pencil leaves marks. And once you tilt the page toward the light and see the faint lines underneath, you can never unsee them. This isn't about being mean to anyone. It's about realizing how carefully a public image can be built, brick by brick, number by number, until it feels like it can't be touched. But history has a way of leaving clues behind. Old magazines, old memories, old hospital rules that don't bend. And once those clues start to line up, they form a picture that can't be erased. You don't have to yell to change a story. Sometimes you just need to let the numbers speak for themselves.